Hi guys. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you guys about the French Revolution and how it all happened. Okay, so the French Revolution is one of the most important wars that happened because it shifted the passage from the modern age to the contemporary age. And the biggest political and social change that has ever happened. Yeah. And then the French Revolution happened at the end of the 17th century and early 18th century, and it happened in the year 1789. At the time, King Louis XVI was ruling, and he didn't really have good values or traits to rule. He was very unfair, and it was like an ultimate monarchy that the king had all the power. It could technically it means monarchies queen and king, so they only had the decision and opinion of whether to do what to do with the country. So peasants and farmers and the nobles didn't have a choice. But thanks to Louis the 16th, the nobles had a great life because they didn't have to worry about what they were going to eat or if they had enough money because they didn't pay taxes. And meanwhile, the most hardworking people, which they call the peasants, um, they had to pay many taxes, and lived the most they lived the most their life in poverty and misery, and the majority that were in misery were um tired of living that way, and they thought it was unfair, but no one wanted to go up to King Louis because they would obviously be decapitated. So everyone was scared, so they didn't do anything. um so the most disadvantaged social class, called the peasants, form a group called they all got together and they form a group called the National Assembly, and they decided to write the Constitution where the rights and the duties of all social classes, so they were all fair. All the social classes were accepted in a more well-behaved manner. On July 14, 1789, in Paris, the capital of France, and a large group of people went to the Bastille. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, they went to the castle. It was a prison, and where people that were the people that were against the king, they went to free the prisoners, and this is how it all began. This fight became the symbol of the revolution in the rest of the country. There were also many revolts peasants, and the noble class. The peasants technically destroyed the noble class, so there was no noble class, and um, the National Assembly took power, and they governed based on three great values, which was liberty, equality, and fraternity. And the new governors wrote a very important document. It was called the Declaration of Rights of Men and the Citizens. So the French people, after they wrote the National Assembly, the French people throned King the 16th, and his wife, Marie Antoinette, and they were beheaded, which means they cut their heads off in the guillotine. So in conclusion, King Louis was unfair to all this lower class, and the lower class had to pay money to the higher classes, and they like the peasants were like not okay with this, so they did something about it and they won. But the most important thing is that like it ended like inequality, so it ended like all of that. So now they were all equal. And then it established the citizens and the democratic ideas. Like they spread the idea of being equal. They spread it all around Europe. And then now, what I think is, since they did that back then, now we all have equal rights. So technically, having the French Revolution was a good, good. What do you say? A good thing.